and welcome back once again. It's your host, the G-Man. As we continue with our 2016 team-by-team fantasy preview, today we're going to profile the Washington Redskins. Lots of good options abound for the Redskins, although not so much where you would expect. Let's start at the top with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is a viable starting fantasy quarterback. I can't believe I can say that, just like you can't believe to hear it. But after last year and my faith in Jay Gruden, I think Cousins has a chance to be a back-end number one, certainly a really, really strong number two quarterback. At the running back position, not sold on Matt Jones. I wasn't sold on him coming out of school. I know he had a couple big games last year. I just don't know that he has either the ability or the durability to be there every day. So Matt Jones, to me, is probably a number 3 running back. I do think he's going to get plenty of opportunities because they don't have much challenging him. I just don't believe in that talent level. Chris Thompson's their backup. He's their third down back. So in a PPR, I guess you consider him. But other than that, he is really just late round fodder, or he's a bye-week replacement if you have to go that route. Wide receiver, they're kind of all over the map. They have a bunch of guys who have some level of value, but to put too many eggs in their basket would be a mistake. DeSean Jackson is clearly not the player he used to be, but he will have 3 or 4 huge games. So if you pick the right game, he's going to be a number 1. I wouldn't even draft him as a number 3 receiver. At this point in his career, I think he's a number 4, maybe a late end number 3, depending upon what else is out there. But DeSean Jackson is your classic hit or miss, and I prefer to have a guy who's going to get me consistency. Pierre Garçon is going to be more consistent, but he's going to be consistently average. If you're going to want a guy who gets 5 catches for 50 yards, I think he's probably going to be that guy almost every week. He's not a huge touchdown guy. He's never been a huge touchdown guy. So I think his value is extremely limited, although he is consistent. I'd put him in that 4 category as well. Who I think is probably the best receiver on their team, and the chance with the biggest upside, he strikes me as like a John Brown type from Arizona, and that's Jamison Crowder. If they use him correctly in the slot, he could catch 80 balls, get 1,000 yards. He could even get you 10 touchdowns because he does return punts for sure, sometimes kickoffs, although they don't want to risk his body doing kickoffs. And he proved to be a pretty good red zone threat despite being really, really small. Tight end, Jordan Reed, clear number 1 tight end. If you can put aside the injury concerns, he's a top 3 fantasy tight end. He catches everything thrown to him. He had 10 touchdowns last year. I wouldn't see any reason other than injury he wouldn't get that same production this year. 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns for Jordan Reed. Clear number 1. Right after that Gronk area and that next group of strong tight ends this year, I think he fits right in there. From a defensive perspective, I do think they're going to be improved. I think Norman helps them quite a bit, but I think it helps them more in a real football perspective than a fantasy football perspective. I probably wouldn't take them. They're probably a number 2 defense if you have to have 2 on your roster, but otherwise they're more of a bye-week replacement type because I don't think they turn the ball over a ton. So with your 2016 team-by-team fantasy preview of the Washington Redskins, I'm your host, the G-Man, and I am out.